Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of With Conviction, a story of hope, horror, and history. My name is Rain, my pronouns are she, her, and I am your GM for this adventure. With me are my very tired heroes for this campaign. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi there, I'm Alice. I play Desdemona Hartwood, the gothy, punky, magical girl who totally doesn't care about anything, including the friends that she's currently mad over that she doesn't care about at all. Both our pronouns are she and they.
I am Skylin. My pronouns are they and them, and I play Kris Whitlock, whose pronouns are she or any. Kris is our extremely sporty, not a girl, who has spent probably most of the evening and what we might call a night, I suppose, holding on to dear life.
And I am Rob. My pronouns are he, him. I play Eliza, whose pronouns are she, her. And Eliza is awake and very unhappy about it.
Understandable. You all have had a very long night. You have recently found Hazel again, and in defeating one of these monsters, have managed to recover some of her identity. You can now recall how you knew her. And in the aftermath of that, Des, very upset, had left the others and gone home. It is quite late by this point. When you get home, Des, the porch light is on, but all the lights inside are dark. It seems like your parents have gone to bed. What do you do as you pull into the driveway?
Des parks the car and turns it off and sits by herself in the car for a while, trying to process a little bit before going inside.
What's going through your head?
It is a big storm of frequently contradictory feelings. A lot of like glad that Hazel is safe, but also frustrated that Hazel didn't even need saving. It was just she's unclear on exactly where Hazel was, and now there's other stuff that is also unclear that she's certain she's going to get dragged into as well. Yeah, it's a whole lot of difficult and confusing emotions at the moment. She's very frustrated, angry with herself, angry with Hazel.
You head inside, I assume as quietly as you can.
Yeah.
Make your way upstairs to your room. What does your room look like? I don't think we've heard yet.
Oh yeah, I guess I haven't described it. Desdemona's room is pretty messy. There are some couple of band posters on the walls, some leftover sheets and bedding that haven't they've been changed and laundered since she was young, but what I'm saying is they haven't been changed since she was young. She's had the same bed sheets for the same bedding for a long time. There's like, clothes scattered around, some makeup messily stashed on a desk. It looks like the room of a teenage girl. Yeah, I think that mostly describes it. I'm not.
Do you immediately go to sleep?
I think Des gets into bed and curls up, but doesn't actually manage to get to sleep for a long time, if at all. I think it just takes her a long time, so I think it's pretty late when she finally falls asleep.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, when your phone ringing wakes you up the next morning, have you actually been able to get any rest?
Probably like a couple hours where finally, enough of these emotions have burnt her out enough that she fell asleep for a little bit. But yeah, wakes up, hears the phone, and struggles to look at who's calling.
It appears to be Faith.
She's going to set the phone down, not touch anything on it, and try to go back to sleep.
It rings. It rings. It rings. And eventually hangs up. And then there's a couple of texts that appear 1, 2, 3, but you don't respond to those either, I assume.
No, yeah, I think she would read them from the lock screen, but does not respond.
Yeah, Faith is asking, I got your text. Are you okay? What happened? Is everyone safe? Are you okay? What's going on? There's a few like that. And then the messages stop coming.
And she buries her face in the pillows and tries to ignore how she's feeling and go back to sleep.
And you succeed for a while. And then the next time you're woken up, it's by another voice calling you, this time from downstairs. It's your father. Hey, Des?
Des slowly rolls over and yells back without like sitting up. Yeah, yeah.
You can hear him walking up the stairs. Hey, are you good? There's a detective here to talk to you.
Uh, it, is it possible to rain check a detective?
I mean, I can ask, but uh,
Okay, I'll be down in a sec.
all right. And you can hear him go back downstairs.
Uh, I don't think she changed out of her clothes, so I think she just grabs her phone and walks downstairs, still really tired.
Sitting at the kitchen table is a middle-aged man, about your height, blonde hair, green eyes. He's got a friendly expression, but very tired, harsh lines on his face, wearing slacks and a button down, professional but casual. And he stands as you walk into the room, and he holds his hand out. You must be Des.
Uh, Des sort of like really limply grabs his hand and nods, uh, not saying anything yet.
Detective Becker, I'm here to ask you some questions about the incident last week.
Was this one of the people that had already questioned me?
No,
Okay.
no. He shows you a badge. He's with the Winchester Police Department. He gestures for you to sit, and your mom walks into the room and sits down at the table with you.
Okay, I sit down, still not really making eye contact with anyone.
Your mom exchanges some questions with him, but you're not really listening. So, but eventually, her interrogation of him seems as satisfied as it can be.
Oh, right, lawyer mom.
Yes, I have to apologize. I don't know what a lawyer would do in this situation, so I'm doing my best.
A
You're
lawyer would
fine.
advise you not to talk to the cops at all.
Yeah, but hey, maybe my mom doesn't like me very much. Go ahead.
Um, so he opens a notebook and clears his throat. So, would you be willing to go over the events of that night again?
Now, GM, I wanna look at his face. Is he squinting at me like he's got the X doubt Y like object buttons, the button prompts ready to go, or
Do you have read a soul as a skill or anything related to
no,
that?
closest I've got is I know a guy.
Roll a flat roll then.
Okay, cool. That's a 7.
He's definitely paying attention. You know that the reason that they ask you to go over these details again is to see if your story changes. And he is paying attention, but he's not suspicious of you.
Okay, that's great news because I, Alice, the player, definitely remember what Des said last time.
If it makes you feel better, I don't either. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, if you just want to say the same thing that you said last time, he takes those notes, he's nodding along, and then he checks something on the next page and asks, "How long have you known Kris Whitlock?" And we cut over to Eliza's apartment. So, speaking of Kris, you are woken up by the light coming in through the window just before dawn. Not willingly, but because Hazel is shifting. You said that you were snuggling with Hazel at the end of the last episode.
Yeah, so Kris had asked Hazel if she could stay in that second bedroom with her, and Kris has spent the last maybe 5 hours effectively glued like a backpack to Hazel. So when Hazel is shifting, Kris sort of blinks and, Hazel,
And you can hear her talking.
you're still here, right?
My name is Hazel Charlotte Glass. I'm 19 years old, and and my name is Hazel Charlotte Glass. I, I I'm a student at and you can hear her continue in that trying to voice elements of her life.
Kris squeezes how with the one arm. She's got one arm kind of under Hazel's head, and the other one is draped over her body, and she kind of squeezes to give a comforting touch. And she adds, "You're on the volleyball team, and Coach Dave always gives you encouragement, and you are one of our best passers, and you come in the lineup shortly after I do."
I'm on the volleyball team. Kris and, and Morgan and
Aiden and Veronica.
yes. All right. and she and she actually at this point sits up.
Kris doesn't stop her.
And you see one hand reach out to grab the strap of the camera that is laid over the shoulder of the daybed, and she just holds on to that. It takes a minute, but her breathing does eventually slow down.
Kris honestly doesn't know what to do here, but she also sits up and she sets herself in front of Hazel and sort of offers her hands and goes, what do you need right now?"
I don't know.
Okay. Well, your captain's here. Let's
Thanks.
write some of this down, maybe? And Kris grabs her phone. She looks to see if she can text Hazel and then remembers that Hazel doesn't have her own phone. So she gets off the bed and goes to open the door and turns on, "Hazel, don't go anywhere."
She nods.
And she goes off to see if she can find a spare piece of paper and a pen from Eliza's coffee table.
Eliza, are you awake at the moment?
So It's like 7 a.m., so it's been at most 4 hours since we went to bed. But Eliza is a breakfast restaurant waitress, so she's gonna be awake probably, if not now, then very soon. I think maybe when she heard the door open, that's when she wakes up, because she's not used to having other people in the apartment.
Yeah, and usually when something's making noise around you, it's either Nisa or it's something that you need to pay attention to half the time because it's a monster trying to bite off your head.
It happens a lot, yeah.
And Nisa is not particularly talented at working doorknobs.
No. Nisa is actually, I think, in this scene, Nisa is like sitting on her cat tree and watching Kris as she gathers the papers. But Eliza is in her bedroom still, and I think she's like doing that thing where you sleep and you're half hanging off the bed because she kind of just fell into bed at 3 a.m. when the tired hit her really suddenly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So she's just kind of waking up, still just.
So, Kris, I think you're able to find some loose scrap paper without any trouble. And if not a pencil, then maybe a pen or a marker or something from the whiteboard.
It'd be pens. Eliza hates pencils.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so she takes those back to that second bedroom and grabs a debit card out of her purse because that's the largest, hard surface she has, and she hands it to Hazel and says, "Maybe muscle memory will work. I know I remember school notes better if I write things down by hand, and she points at Hazel's head, if memory doesn't work, then maybe," and she points at Hazel's hands, "muscle memory might help. Write it all down."
Yeah. Thanks.
Can I take this as her light shift trigger for leading the way into into a stressful situation?
I don't think so, mostly because the into
Sure.
the idea there is that you're
Walking in, not dunked into already.
yeah, it's not this is navigating something that you're already deeply involved in.
Yeah. Okay.
So Hazel kind of takes a deep breath and tries her best to write with the debit card as a back, just writing down basic facts about her life. It's just, I'm sorry, it was just a bad dream.
Hazel, you have nothing to be sorry for. I should be saying I'm sorry. I let you down.
She shrugs. It's not important.
You're starting to hear movement from the adjacent bedroom. It seems Eliza is awake.
Hazel lowers her voice. I didn't mean to wake you up. I just had a bad dream. That's all.
Hazel, I'm not going anywhere until this is fixed. You deserve to be you. You deserve to feel all the love that you have. You deserve to know yourself and to not be half missing.
I just don't want that to happen to you.
That causes a series of blinks. I don't know if I got lost saving you, I think it would be worth it.
Please don't.
I'll try not to, I promise.
She finishes writing, stands up. I'm gonna go see if there's anything to eat.
All right.
And she walks out of the room.
I think she encounters Eliza, who is standing in the kitchen wearing like a set of like blue pajama pants and a random band t-shirt. And she's just kind of staring hopefully at the coffee machine. It's running, thankfully, but she doesn't seem to be capable of anything else until the coffee is done brewing.
Morning. I hope I didn't wake you.
I'm always up this early. This is sleeping late for me.
Congrats?
Breakfast waitress. Did you sleep okay?
Hazel shrugs non-committally and looks around. Do you have, like, food?
Fridge. 2 points.
It's at this point that Kris walks in. She has her purse. She seems relatively put together for a morning, anyway. A morning with this few hours of sleep, anyway.
Hazel pokes into the fridge.
You open the fridge and there's no evidence of anything green in here, which is distressing. But there's at least like a thing of eggs and like half carton of milk, and there's actually a bunch of cereal boxes on top of the fridge where they're apparently safe from Kris. But yeah, so and it's other than that fairly barren. If you open up the freezer, there's a selection of various like ready, like mostly microwave oriented things like those pre-made breakfast bowls and such. But yeah, Eliza clearly does not do a very intensive grocery shop.
I think Hazel pulls out the eggs, starts looking for a frying pan, and goes, Kris, don't look in there.
What? Kris goes to look in the fridge.
Yeah, she sees all that same stuff. There's a small pantry at the corner of the kitchen, or not corner, like the end of the kitchen farthest from the little hallway. And if you are to look in there, you'll find it's a similar situation overall. A bit better. It seems like she doesn't tend to eat much that needs refrigerating, but still kind of the same theme of nothing very gourmet or anything.
Hey, Eliza, what do you eat?
Coffee. She's picking up a cup as it seems to have finished brewing.
Hot stuff coffee does not count as a macro.
A what?
Your body needs fuel, and you need a variety of fuels in order to make it through your day. You have 1.5, maybe, here. You have carbs and protein. What? She, like, marches over to Eliza and, like, reaches up to try to pull Eliza down to her level.
It works.
You need fruit, and ideally vegetables.
I ate grapes the other day.
That's a start.
By this point, Hazel has started warming up a pan to fry some eggs.
Do you even have oil that she can fry with?
Pulls out a stick of butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like stands up straight, freeing herself from Kris's grip, and finally takes a sip of her coffee. Which you'll notice if you like look at it, there seems to be about cream and 3 sugars in there, roughly.
When we are done dealing with whatever it is we need to deal with, I am taking you properly shopping. Grocery shopping, and I'm gonna get Morgan to teach you how to cook something.
I know how to make quesadillas. And at this point, you do put together there was a bag of like Mexican blend cheese in the fridge's drawer.
Hazel's just watching this with amusement. You can see a smile playing around her lips.
Kris is blinking, and her face is struggling to do the no proper sleep math of, as in the cheese and tortillas.
Yeah, and you do like shredded chicken or something.
That's something. Okay. And she just goes and finds a place to sit.
Eliza has now already gone through like half the cup of coffee she's holding and seems to already be slightly more functional. She's just looking between the two of you. Did you two share the daybed?
I'm small.
Hazel shrugs and breaks one of the eggs.
How'd you do that without it getting everywhere?
Practice.
Oh. I usually do it into a bowl over the sink so it doesn't get on the counter.
She shrugs. So, you're working today?
It's Thursday, right? She pulls her phone from the pocket of her pajama pants. Yeah, Thursday. Oh, I have so many texts. Are any of them from Faith, maybe?
Yeah. Faith sent you similar texts asking if everything is okay, what's going on. Is Des okay?
She leans against the counter and answers them after a moment with one text just says, "Everything is okay. We dealt with one of those monsters downtown, but we won. And Des is okay. And I think we found Hazel." And she actually sends that same candid shot of Hazel in the car that she sent to Des last night.
All caps. What? Oh, thank God.
I'm gonna get everyone together today. Do you want to meet for lunch?
Uh, sure. Can you pick me up?
Yeah, we'll do. Okay, I'll send you a text when I have a time, okay?
Thumbs up.
Pancake emoji. Closes her phone. Well, not closes, but puts away.
So, a couple minutes later, Hazel deposits some fried eggs in front of everyone.
Eliza has secured the ketchup from the fridge and is ignoring any amount of dirty looks she gets for eating eggs with ketchup.
She is getting an extremely dirty look from Kris.
I think Eliza also made toast. She pulled some toast from the pantry. Well, bread from the pantry and toasted it.
Yeah, Hazel doesn't seem to care one way or the other. She seems to be more amused by Chris's disgruntlement than.
Ketchup isn't vegetables, and you know it.
Eliza is mostly like that's just eating the egg and says, "It's made of tomato."
The frown on Kris's face deepens. You
This is the
know,
first time that you've heard Hazel laugh since you found her.
Hot Stuff, I was thinking that maybe it would have been nice to have the cuddle puddle with you and Des, but now I'm not so sure.
Also, I don't think I'm dating you two. That might have been awkward.
Oh,
Because,
we're not. We're not. We're, no, no.
oh, I just kind of figured by the, you know,
Kris's eyebrow raises in a question mark.
well, with the sharing the daybed and the "I love you too much to let this go" and all, I was just assuming. Sorry, I guess.
Kris looks to Hazel and then turns back to Eliza and says, Hazel's team.
You have a very different definition of team than I do.
Hazel chuckles.
Cuddle puddles are normal for us.
Hmm.
If you haven't been in when you should be, they're fantastic.
I can't say I have. Eliza like, looks at Hazel for a moment and then at Kris, and there's a bit of a blush creeping into her cheeks.
Hazel's grin widens.
Now the only question is if there's space for you and Des and the whole team on that pull-out couch. Kris's face scrunches up in trying to do the mental geometry. Hazel, you remember that couch?
She squints. Yeah.
That's good, right?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Her eyes are kind of distant, like she's definitely in a memory somewhere.
Eliza, without any explanation, just stands up, leaving a almost completely consumed eggs and toast, and heading for her bedroom.
Hmm?
I've got something. And after about a minute, she comes back holding a laundry basket. And in this laundry basket, there's both a set of pants and a skirt, along with two different tops and a black hoodie. And she sets this basket just next to Hazel and says, I car camped for a year. I know how nice clean clothes are by comparison, so you go ahead and wear these as long as you want, okay?
Oh, uh, uh, thanks. Um, do you have a shower?
Yeah, if you go in my room, bathroom's on the left.
Perfect. Thanks. She picks up the basket and disappears into that doorway.
Eliza says, "Oh, before you go," she
Yeah.
reaches into the pocket of the pajama pants she's still holding and pulls something out. And at first you take it for Eliza's phone, but then she also pulls her phone out and sets it on the table. It's just, this is my old one, and I cleared all the data off of it, but until you've got your own, she hands it to Hazel.
Oh. Oh shit. That'll be. Good lord. What rich romantic planet are you from? And she smiles, pockets the phone, and disappears around the corner.
You sure you're not dating her?
Kris's face splits into a grin. I'm sure, hot stuff.
Okay. So, wings, huh?
That grin is erased instantaneously as she blinks again. Apparently.
I'd offer to teach you how to fly, but I'm pretty sure bird wings won't work like a jetpack.
I mean, we could try it. I'll be honest, I don't remember a lot of what happened, um, with the wings.
Me either. I think you sprouted them while that thing was getting me, but you had them when we got here last night.
Sure did. Did you see the colors? I couldn't get a real good look at them.
Oh, yeah, they looked, well, natural, like more like a falcon or a hawk than anything else.
Can't say there are so many. There are so many hawks, Eliza. Say more.
Um, oh, they had, I'm trying to remember. I remember they had like a really dark leading edge, and I think they got lighter towards the back. And they were big. Like those are some big wings you've got. I think you might actually be able to fly with those. Like it's not necessarily magic like mine are, but they looked really good on you.
Kris blushes. All right. Maybe. Man, you said hawk. I gotta know. I gotta know. Um, I'm not transforming now. But next time we get a chance, I should maybe actually take a look at them.
You could have Hazel take a picture.
You know, I could.
I'm gonna have to sit her down and explain the whole twin powers thing again.
Let's make her whole first.
Okay. So I invited Faith to lunch. I was thinking we find Desdemona, we put pancakes in them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something. And you can see Kris's brain is like trying to get going. It seems like maybe at this time in the morning she would normally be more on top of things, but the late night and new circumstances have slowed her down a little bit. But the look that she has on her face is the same look that she's had every time that she's trying to like pull the team together. Um something I'm not real good at reading people. That's Jesse's thing, but I can tell when something's wrong, and something was wrong with Des. I think somebody needs to talk to her.
Yeah. I I remember she was upset last night and I couldn't figure out why. Like it felt like she was mad at Hazel for being missing. Which doesn't make sense to me, but
Kris shrugs.
And at this point, Des,
Mm-hmm.
having explained your story to the detective, he finishes taking some notes and nods and asks, how does she strike you as a person?
I mean, good, like a good person.
Okay. He makes note of that. Would you be okay expanding on that a bit?
Um, I'm sorry, I'm not in a great headspace at the moment. I mean, what are you wanting to know? I haven't known her a long time.
All right. Um, I guess I'll just cut to the chase then. Has she ever pressured you to do something you didn't want to do?
Uh, p- what? Uh, d- no, no. N- I, I don't, I don't think so.
Is Des being honest here?
No. But she's thinking of like being pressured into transforming and that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying
Can
to.
you make a roll to lie?
Oh yeah, 100% I can make a roll to lie. That'd be a 5.
oh no.
He studies you for a moment. Okay, well, I appreciate your help. I want to take a moment to assure you that you are not in trouble. I know getting a visit like this can be pretty scary, but you are not in trouble. We are just we're just trying to wrap everything up here and make sure that something like this doesn't happen again.
I,
So,
I'm confused. Kris was with me. They were one of the victims. I don't know. What are you what are you getting at?
there's not too much I can say on a active investigation right now. We're just trying to get to know everyone involved.
Uh, okay. Uh, she didn't do anything wrong. She helped me.
All right. Well, if you remember anything else, here's my card. And seems like you've been through a lot lately, so I'll let you and your family take care of that. You all have a nice day. And he turns and heads for the door. What are you doing?
Sitting there trying not to make eye contact or really look at my mother.
She's watching you thoughtfully.
When nothing happens, there's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to bed now.
There's an expression that crosses her face, but it's gone before you can read it. She nods and
Okay, then Des heads back upstairs to her room.
does she do anything aside from try to sleep?
I think she doesn't actually try to go back to sleep. I think at this point, the overthinking and the anxiety are making that not an option. So she spends a while staring at her notifications.
He has one from Eliza that's just the pancake emoji and the question mark emoji.
I don't think this touches any of the triggers because I didn't actually take the blame for a friend. I just tried to make sure
You
that
definitely covered
Well, I mean, if you're down for me to take that as a trigger, I am very down to.
Considering that you failed to lie for Kris, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. So that is a darkness trigger. I move another point down the track. I'm at a -3,
Oh boy.
Oh,
which is,
exciting.
yeah, very exciting. Getting ever closer. Hey, random question. What happens if I reach a breaking point outside of combat?
Uh-oh.
Well, what happens if you reach a breaking point?
I explode and I guard everyone.
Well, with no one to guard, you would just explode.
Well, yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Yeah, Des is sitting up in her room, staring at her phone for a while, kind of puttering around on the internet, but nothing's really. Anytime she tries to focus on something, it doesn't really stick. So
She's having trouble getting through that 4-hour YouTube video essay.
Oh no. Has she responded to any of her messages?
no, no, no,
Oh
she's
boy.
not.
She gets another one from Eliza that's just 6 of the pancake emoji, so it's 12
Thanks for the
pancakes.
pancakes emoji. This is the only text that she has been sorely tempted to really respond to. But no, yeah, she closes the 1 day, 12 hours YouTube video that she thought she could drown her emotions in, and puts her phone to sleep, and she can kind of see herself in the reflection of the screen, and she's kind of, well, I don't really have anything better to do right now, so I'll fix this awful day-old makeup that I've got on. So she grabs her bag and goes digging through to grab her compact and some of the makeup that she's got on one of her tables.
Yeah, your compact seems to be missing.
Sometimes when you're not feeling good, it's like one little thing is all it takes to really like break your spirit. And in this simple, plain moment of helplessness, she sort of just drops everything and flops back into the bed and is on the verge of tears. Not because of the compact, but because of everything and the compact.
Mm-hmm. Kris, Eliza, how are you doing this morning? A little more awake?
A little bit.
Any responses?
Nothing from Des. I sent her total of 7 pancake emojis and nothing, so it must be bad.
All right.
I think by this scene, Eliza has gotten dressed, so she's in her slashed up black jeans, Doc Martens, fishnet arm socks. I think it's a Fallout Boy t-shirt today, and she's also wearing a jacket that's got just kind of festooned with enamel pins.
Kris is working on helping clean up the kitchen. In fact, I think she's actually probably doing dishes from the what can pass as a breakfast. And she looks over her shoulder and says, "Hey, I really need to go home this morning before we see everybody. I owe my team uh something at least."
Makes sense to me. Do you want me to take care of Hazel?
She puts the last dish down and
Hazel walks in, still wringing a little bit of water out her hair. Yeah, if it's all the same, I think I'll stick with Eliza for now.
Kris puts the last dish down now that it's clean, and
Can't reach the cabinet it goes in.
no, she cannot. So she puts it down, and she dries off her hands and looks to Hazel and says, Yeah, yeah, probably. And then she looks to Eliza and says, "Thank you for helping us take care of her." And she reaches up on, she goes up on tippy toes and gives Eliza just a quick peck on the cheek. And as she leaves and withdraws from that, Eliza can detect the faintest hint of spiced fruit.
Eliza is frozen in place, still staring ahead as she was when Kris kissed her cheek. And Hazel can actually see her hair is smoldering a little bit.
And Hazel slaps you on the back as Kris walks out the door and just goes, "Welcome to the team. Ow, you're hot."
Yeah.
Yes, she is. Kris says as she walks away.
Be nice to the newbie.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I blacked out for a second. What just happened?
I think you got initiated onto the team.
Oh.
I hope you play volleyball.
No? I fence.
Oh, I have got to see that. And with that, Kris, what are you thinking about when you get to your house?
Kris is processing. Well, she's trying to process. This is a new thing that she's been introduced to as a concept relatively recently, but she's replaying Hazel's breakdown over and over and over and over again in her head. And as she walks up to the door and unlocks it, her head is down, and any of her teammates who know her well enough would see just sheer guilt on her face.
Your head is down, so you miss the first details. But once you walk inside, it's your ear that catches it. It's quiet. There's nobody here right now.
Kris looks at her phone just to check the time.
By now, it's like 9:30ish.
Fuck. Well, I guess I'm gonna figure out which class I missed. She's kind of talking to herself as she goes upstairs.
What are you doing when you get there?
Once in her room, Kris is cleaning up. She's used to crashing at Jesse's place, so this isn't an unusual thing for her. But she is doing sort of a quick sponge bath because there's not a whole lot of time for anything else. She's changing into new pants, socks, reapplying deodorant, putting on, grabbing a scoop neck t-shirt, and brushing her hair, and just generally trying to put herself together for the rest of the day. The only class she has Thursday mornings is an 8 a.m., so there's not a whole lot she can do at this point. It's just a matter of hitting the gym at some point later in the day. It's not a formal practice day either. It's kind of their free day. But once she's done all that, she reapplies her daily perfume and then sort of just sits on her bed for a little bit, staring into space.
Yeah. And I think that's a good place to leave it for now. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And thank you to my players. And I will see you all next time. Have a good night. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure. With Conviction is a production of Silver Maiden Games. If you would like to play Conviction, check out the game at silvermaidengames.itch.io. Music for the intro and outro of this podcast is A Soul with Conviction by Doom Vega, who you can find on Bandcamp. Music within the episodes is by Rachel Rose Mitchell, who you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. All rights to the music are retained by their original artist. Production and editing are done by myself and the With Conviction cast. Thank you all. This would not be what it is without you. You can find this podcast on Spotify and YouTube or silvermaidengames.wordpress.com. You can also find more about the game, podcast, and ways to contact us at silvermaidengames.wordpress.com.